Sunnyside's Promise started because we had a group of local members from our community, parents, educators, churches, business, city, who were concerned about the things that kids were getting into. And they actually started an organization called Sunnyside's Promise, which was under auspices of a national organization called America's Promise, which was actually founded by our former presidents and Nancy Reagan on behalf of Ronald Reagan in 1997.
Dr. Cole, the school superintendent, was also on the board. His idea was to put a consortium together, basically consisting of Sunnyside Community Hospital, Sunnyside School District, and the city of Sunnyside.
As a principal, I know exactly what's happening between 7 to 3, and oftentimes kids' lives are falling apart from 3 o'clock on, and so having Sunnyside's Promise, it's really easy to have someone to go to and find out if they know something about this particular child or children or families, and can they help me out.
And as a school counselor, we don't have 30, 20 hours a week to spend with one child. We're responsible for hundreds of kids. Case managers have that time. They have a smaller, intense caseload that they work with.
Middle school age kids were the ones that were highly becoming active. And that's where we found the biggest push. So what we decided to do was to write a grant to the Juvenile Rehabilitation Administration, where they're working with these kids that have been identified by the school district. We've got kids that are as deep in as being very gang involved. They're jumped in. They are fully engulfed in the gang life.
My role with Sunnyside's Promise is I'm a domestic minor sex trafficking case manager. And a lot of times that kind of throws people. The word trafficking is really something that people really don't identify with our area. Once they understand the definition and awareness of what sex trafficking is with a minor, especially a domestic minor, it brings a little bit more light to believing that it is happening here in our community.
You know, my role is a little different than what they can do. They have larger parameters on how they can assist families, and I feel like it's another resource for us when we begin to have troubles and not know what to do next.
I work closely with the 2 middle schools because that's our targeted age, and because they have been identified somehow through various red flags, things that are happening in their lives.
Within those kids, one of the things that we've been able to do is to be able to provide community service hours. So we will be able to monitor that child. The good thing about that is it allows us to build a relationship with the kid.
Obviously, you have to build a rapport with them. You have to build this trust.
Kids trust them more because they're not an administrator and they don't feel like they're directly tied to the school district. And so kids seem to have opened up more to them and share with them and ask them for help.
Sunnyside Promise is modeled after America's Promise. There's 5 promises: caring adults, safe places, healthy starts, effective education, opportunities to serve. It's been shown in studies that if kids get at least 4 of those 5 promises, they've got a 90% chance of graduating from high school and being successful in life. If they don't have those, the studies show that less than 50% of the kids will graduate, and so the school district loses its mission. We have kids on the street. We have more problems.
There's this organization here, Sunnyside's Promise, that really, with everything it has, is fighting to change that.
We've got the community center reopened, and we've had that open a little over a year now. We had over 16,000 signatures of kids coming in to sign into the center. We served over 8,900 lunches to kids during the summertime.
I want to say there's a lot of benefits in the community because it's really bad, a lot of gangs. And here you can come and it's just a gang-free place, no drugs. And it's really good.
When I see kids come in there in that center and I see them being able to have a safe place, number one, to come to, and when I see people that are working with these kids in the community center, you see the value of a child looking at an adult or a mentor or a person that's willing to spend time down there.
We had some success early on in that We developed some things like the Lucky 7 Bike Club to get kids some job skills and get them bicycles.
Yeah, I thought it was a silly idea thinking how could building bikes keep kids out of gangs. And then I realized it does keep you out of lots of trouble, it gives you something to do.
It affects them more because it's like, hey, we got something to do now. They got something for us to go to. We don't have to be out here in the streets or something looking for trouble. You know, as a kid when I was growing up, this community didn't have that. You know, and that's why I always got into trouble. See, now these guys got that opportunity, and it helps them.
So as we designed the plan, the structure for Sunnyside Promise, we realized that we needed an executive director, somebody that could be full-time and manage these programs and get things going.
It was important for me to understand the dynamics of what it was that was the charge of Sunnyside's Promise at that point. I knew the hospital, city, and school district had expectations, and it was basically to work with the gang activity and the drug and alcohol.
A typical grant, we're only allowed to use 4% of that money for administrative overhead, paying the rent, keeping our lights on, etc.
Without that piece though, we have no organization, we have no programs, we have no opportunity to write for grants, to bring programming in the community, to partner with other agencies. Without that piece of the agency, we fail to exist.
So if we got a $100,000 grant for a year, we have to manage that grant, hire people, do the monthly reports, do the follow-up reports on $4,000. So there's not enough to hire somebody, pay the rent, do etc. with just the grant monies. We can't make it with grant monies. We need the administrative overhead money so that we exist, so that we can go out and find grants that fit our community, apply for them, hopefully we get them, and then manage them and bring those services so we can help our kids in the community.
This is where it's at. You know, if we can't make a difference here, and with all the resources we have out there, we're going to lose our kiddos. And that's what concerns me. They deserve it. And if someone doesn't advocate for them, what are we going to do?
We really are a very powerful voice for the youth in this community. We speak to city councils, go to school board meetings, do parent-teacher conferences.
We're always looking for gaps. We're looking for things that the school district can't provide or is not providing, or the other agencies can't provide or are not providing. We're not duplicating anything anywhere.
I just believe that this organization has a lot of opportunities in this community to build and to create, and again to think outside the box, to bring together partnerships, and that is pretty much the hope that I have for Sunnyside's Promise.